theme is keep the fire burning, black, loud and proud.
I was going to say I was just black, loud and proud all the time. I just can't help myself. And everyone knows that. But I'm also black, green, loud and proud.
Hey, look
Oh, had to put that in.
She's a dag.
Yeah.
She's a dag. You always got one in the family.
Well, fire for me, like now we're sitting around here, it's a campfire, and we all know our mom, wherever we go, we always go to have the fire and the river, the water, and we know how to survive. This is our main thing. Sit around the fire and have a yarn. We can cook out of that. Camping by the river, that's always our main thing, till today. History and culture, that's ours, you know. We gotta, still there, we're never gonna take it out from us.
With me, I think, I have two fires, and one is my family. I want to see my family succeed, and I want to be there for my family, and I want them to know that they can and will achieve and put their minds to it. But it's not only about achieving, it's about just being family and love, that we're there for each other. And my second fire is that I really want to make a difference in education. I really do. And I've always had this thing that if I help one kid and I see that kid succeed, I know when I walk out the door in the afternoon, I've earned my pay packet.
Yeah, when I think of that term, keep the fire burning, I always feel sitting right behind me here are my grandparents and parents, particularly in relation to education, because they weren't allowed to have an education. And their push was that you're going to go and get an education because you're going to prove that we could have done it if we'd been given the same chance. But your education is to help create change. Not quite sure what that will be, whether it'll be good or bad, but your job is to help create change.
But you can make it good, you can make it any way you want.
Yeah.
It's up to you to make change,
Absolutely.
You can do it.
But to make change,
Yes.
to improve the lives
Yes.
for all of our people.
Yeah. I was 15, I was in the homes over here. My paper was stamped disease-free by the New South Wales Welfare in Sydney. I stood alone. I wasn't allowed in the tea room. I sat by myself morning tea and lunchtime. I thought, I'm as good as them. Where I am today, I'm empowered. No more will I be standing alone. No more will I show my paper disease-free. I am a child of the stolen generation. I'm deputy chair now. I said, I've come a long way. I come to uni when I was a grandmother. I was 40. And I said, my granddaughter here now. And it's just, look, I'm on top of the world. I'm not that little cocky down on the biscuit tin anymore. I've got a voice.
Both sides of my families are activist families, and you know, and all I heard was their voices. You know, as I gotten older, listen to what Arnie said about, you know, like she would love to, you know, spend that time with and enjoy that moment with the one lung that she has, but they're not here no more. You know, and as I've gotten older, you know, those times you want back, some, you know, throughout life, where you want to take back and enjoy those moments again with your elders. And some are gone and some are still here. And but yeah, that was something that sort of reminiscence for me as I've gotten older, and I felt that fire is always going to be there. And I feel that it's something that we sort of need to sort of build on, and find ways how we can sort of, you know, definitely do the education part as well. And, you know, obviously in protesting, you know, that's a voice too. You know, that's all you hear, and with everyone together, and that's keeps my fire burning, understanding and seeing that, and having that sort of fire in me to see that, you know, everyone is got opportunity to have their voice.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when my last parent passed away, and suddenly facing the reality that I was now the older generation, and that I now had to help lead the way, and I couldn't think of a bigger shock, you know, because I was like, all I could think was, I'm not prepared for this.
You got big shoes
I'm
to
not
fill.
prepared for this. They need to come back because I need them to lead the way. And so I'm looking around the circle here at us and knowing that in our communities, in your communities, you're seen as leaders to help pave the way for where we want to be as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the future.
One of the things I've learnt lately, and I'm really excited about it, is that I've got 2 grandchildren that are doing cultural awareness training, and the youngest one is 21, 23. So I've got a girl, my granddaughter and my grandson. And I'm thinking about what you were talking about, Lynn. Around the 1950s, the Armidale Association for Assimilation of Aborigines was started in Armidale. And it was a mouthful. And then Nan, I remember Nan saying she never really communicated with white people. And then they go to look for Nan and find her, and it was on the old dump. Anyway,
They were living in Humpy.
yeah, and it actually was the old garbage dump. And the houses were made out of whatever they could find, Hessian bags, dirt floor, yet they were the cleanest houses you'd ever see. And there was actually a lecturer from Sydney University that moved up, and he was of Maori descent. And his wife went to the Country Women's Association to ask them to do something to help the plight of the Aboriginal people at the dump. And of course the Country Women's Association didn't want a bar of the Aboriginals in Armidale. Anyway, through persistence and going around, you know, they formed the Armidale Association Assimilation for Aborigines. They didn't have an Aboriginal person. So they go and they approach my Nan on the mission, on the dump. And they asked her to, would she come along to a meeting? So my Nan, you know, at that time really didn't associate much with non-Aboriginal people, with white people, but she went along. She got elected vice president. The next year she was president. And they used to tell us stories. We'd get all the stories from our grandparents, both on my mum's side and my dad's side, growing up. Now, getting back to my 2 grandchildren, they're having those conversations with me about what Nan had started or what our elders have done. And sometimes I get really emotional because I always talk to my kids about my mum and dad, my grandparents on both sides, but to hear them come back and have these conversations. And then I've got the other granddaughter that's a heritage sites officer with the Land Council, and she's coming to me and she's telling me, Nan, do you know that you can do this? Nan, you know that when you go to another country, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to... And I just look and I think, wow, these voices are coming through. But while in the present, they're remembering and acknowledging the past.
Well, I come from a community where we've copped the brunt of those explorers sailing into our bay. You're the ones who let Cook in. We also let the Frenchmen in. We also let Philip in before he came around the harbour area. So, and I say when Cook came in, he wasn't a captain, he was lieutenant, but he didn't discover Australia. We discovered him coming up the coast. Our people are on the Edland all the way up on the south coast, right up, and they go right up the coast. And so, no, we discovered him. I said, and my first language before our own language was French. My first foreign language was French. And we had to sing the national anthem in French every Bastille Day, 14th of July, and we marched down to the monument, crammed in like sardines. I said, the only thing you didn't do for us is give us the key to let us out. Once we were crammed inside, and if you weren't singing, you'd be poked in the back. So we got Laperouse. We let Cook in over at Kurnell. Philip came down to Yarra Bay with 2 Koori men, showed him where to get water. He wasn't satisfied there. He sailed around the harbour and conquered the harbour, where our mob were both sides of the headland, North and South Ed, and they proclaimed this. And one feisty woman was in a bark canoe, that was Barangaroo, and challenged. She went to the ball in all her finery. What you see is what you get. She had shell beads around her. She was all in a finery, nothing else on. What you see, this is what you get. So I come from that side family as well in here. So it makes me proud of who I am and where I've come from. But we women, we stand tall, we stand on the shoulders of stronger women.
Don't forget your past.
Yes.
Yeah.
And keep educating the
Keep
next
strengthening
generation.
into the future.
Make sure no one forgets.
So a great patriarchal men and matriarchal women, we stand on those shoulders of them. They've paved the way for us with their marches and all that. And we'll pave the way for our kids and their kids. It's we've got a strong race of people here. We've got something white Australia will never have, never. We've got a culture that you can't break. You can't bend it. We are here. We're here for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, so white Australia has a black history. Yeah, and we're unbreakable. You can bend, but you'll never break us.
It's a good thing when we have this NAIDOC, and we all understand what NAIDOC stands for, you know. It's good to have the elders, or doesn't matter, you've been seeing him for a long time, and he turn up. And when he turn up, that's a big happiness to see him come together and communicate and have a yarn again, you know. From back them days, you always come together. And that's what it's all about. And it's very respectful way to get our more back together.
I love that non-Aboriginal people want to learn about our culture and march alongside us
Yes.
and support everything that we do. But the ones that do my head in are the ones that marry into the mob, and then they think they're the voice of the mob.
Yes.
Because they're the non-Aboriginal person married in, and when it comes to government agencies, they think they've got to do all the talking, but they speak worse Aboriginal English than I do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, just ask my head in, mate. I sit there and, brother, mate, seriously, do I sound like this? I don't sound like this. But it does. I mean, if you want to acknowledge our culture, you want to love our culture, you want to learn about and embrace and support and march, do that, but don't patronise us. That's what the word I'm looking for. I had a teacher walk through school one day. She'd only just started the week before, bless her, and she walked straight up, sister. And I'm thinking, and who the hell are you? Where did you come from? And she said, oh, sister. And I said, no, Carol. My name's Carol, not Aboriginal teacher. Oh, that's all right, sister. I come from Moree. So they all call each other sister out there. I said, Aboriginal women call each other sister. But darling, I just met you. And I said, by the way, I'm acting deputy today, so I'll see you in my office later. So she come in. I said, there are correct ways to address Aboriginal people.
Yeah.
You just met me.
And they assume.
But that's the ones that get on my nerves, you know? Like, I married an Aboriginal man and all of a sudden I know all about Aboriginal culture.
Well,
Like, get a life, seriously?
It rubbed off at night, didn't it? It rubbed off.
I've been fortunate in that in a lot of the jobs I've had, I have actually worked with non-Aboriginal people and sometimes been the only Aboriginal person there. But what I've found is that two types of people. There were people that really wanted to learn and support, and they'd take that journey with you. And there were the others that knew everything, knew more than what you did as an Aboriginal person. So I sort of learned how to work around them but still get the job done, or sometimes would challenge them to come with me. You come with me and you let's see what we can do. But I've been lucky in that I've found that those people that want to come on the journey with me, I like to think that they learnt a lot, because I most certainly learned a lot from them. And they're non-Aboriginal people, and we're still best friends today. And in our community, in particular Armidale, those non-Aboriginal people that I've worked with can go into any of our Aboriginal homes in Armidale and sit down around the fire and have a yarn and a cup of tea with those parents and be openly honest with those parents, and the respect is both ways.
It's great, isn't it?
But we've got to get more people on board to
Yeah.
do that, because one of the things that I'm finding lately is we've got a lot of Aboriginal people. We've got a lot of wannabe Aboriginal people, and like you said, Bob,
Yeah.
they will use the name Wiradjuri.
Yeah, but they
or
can't even
they'll
say it
use
right.
a name. They'll use a name, and it's taken away from our people and,
Yeah.
and our kids.
That's right.
And I don't know how we overcome that, but I just think, you know, I've been fortunate and to work with some really great people out there and seen the work that they've done. And I've got to say, I probably wouldn't be where I am today without the support of those people too. Remember, my principal told me to go to uni.
I think that education plays a massively important part, because it actually gives you the confidence and the courage to take a risk, have a go, get
Challenges.
involved,
Big challenge the challenges.
and look in the mirror and just realise, oh my God, I can do this. I didn't think that I can. And I think education is the key to every life choice you want to make. From the moment you realise that you can access education and you love your education, every life choice you make after that is a consequence of your education.
That's right. And the biggest fire I find for myself personally now is my granddaughter going to university here. And I can't thank Jane enough for the support she's given me with Miranda. Miranda lost her mother in 2015 to suicide. But it opened the doors here to see my granddaughter coming here and at the Gadigal Centre. So this university, I can't thank enough. And the people down at the Gadigal Centre, I just adore them. I think they're great. Everything, I could speak so many volumes about them, what it's done for me. It's that door will open everything. Education is the key to success. It opens many doors. It gives you a platform to stand on. Yeah.
I think for me, I went to a conference last week, and someone said something about we should have our own Indigenous university. The reason why I took notice of that and mentioned it tonight is that we need to not forget that we are educators ourselves in our culture and in our cultural practices and that. And I feel that we need to connect more to that too as well. Understand that mainstream universities and education in that sense, for work but I feel that we need to sort of take the time to work on our communities and reconnect to our language and dance and where we come from and stories.
I'm thinking of it also from this point of view of teaching non-Indigenous people, because that's my job. And the most important thing I ask is that it's face-to-face, that students have to come to class, not online, have to come to class, because what I find is that the majority of the students have never met any Aboriginal people.
Yep.
So just by coming to class,
Yep.
having lectures from Aboriginal people, being tutored by Aboriginal people, or non-Indigenous people who've had a really, decades of experience with Aboriginal people, that's what challenges those students and changes them, the stereotypical mindsets that they have, that they don't even know they've got.
That's
Exactly.
right. Very unaware of it, aren't they?
Education is important on both
Yeah.
sides.
It
It's
is.
important for us because it gives us a voice,
It does.
but it's also important
It empowers.
with non-Indigenous people, because if we don't educate them, they'll never learn.
Real fast, that just reminds me of the late Faye
Oh,
Carroll.
see, this never
No, you got
stops.
to listen to this. she goes over, she said, oh, Carol, I'm going to go over and do Welcome to Country, St Vincent's Hospital. And just, she always gave a little talk. So they had a new CEO, or director, or whatever you call it, of the hospital, St Vincent's. So Faye gets up, does her speech, and then at the end of it, she goes, this is a deadly hospital, it is. And this lad said, you can't say that. She said, I can say what I want to say, and I just said it. This is a deadly hospital. You can't say that. No, we're not poisonous. We're not infectious. He didn't know what that It was hilarious. He was brand new. Didn't never worked with that.
And he's
And
still
she's
there.
there saying this is the deadly hospital, and he's there trying, no, we're not infectious. We're not this. We're not that.
And he's still
Okay,
there.
Cuz, I need to shut you down.
Let's go now.
Now, I think we need to say happy 50th.
Yes, you were
Happy
counting us down.
50th.
1, 2, 3. Happy 50th anniversary, NAIDOC.
And we'll put the fire burn.